This video is brought to you by Battle-Tested Film Gear for all your tips, tricks, tutorials, and tools. Check us out, battletestedfilmgear.com. There we go. Alright, so I think,
I'm back.
let's see, I woke up at 2:30 today, so we're in San Jose, to get to San Jose. But that's okay because the baby woke me up by then anyway. But we're out doing some Ulysses S Grant shooting today. Here's our lovely Grant. Last month he didn't know he was going to be doing this, and but we roped into it, and he's a good sport. But it was kind of a seat of our pants as far as figuring out exactly what we're going to do, because we had a couple different. We got really lucky, and some reenactment guys came and saved the day with some of the really good production value with props and whatnot. We had a tent lined up, but that did not happen, so we ended up moving the whole idea into our little green screen studio over here, which is good because then we're versatile. So today we're shooting all green screen. It's going to be a little bit
So our script, I did this.
not concept, but it's not going to be necessarily true to life, but environments. But at least we can go and make up. You know, we have the props. He's sitting at a desk. He's working with period things. Actually, all these things are pretty. They're legit things, and there's a history to all of them. But then we can just do whatever we want with the environment. Make it a neutral background. Throw Civil War stuff back there. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're gonna do. But yeah, we have another couple hours to go today, and we've used the what am I trying to say here? We've put the studio to its best use. Green screen's big in there, lit it up, tented the rest of it so it's nighttime if we want to do that. Anyway, so yeah, we're having fun. Okay, everybody. So this video, the project, it was for a Kickstarter video or Kickstarter project to make this book that has all these really cool high resolution, high definition, high quality, lots of information, maps of the Civil Wars, Ulysses S Grant, all of the maps he drew up basically. So the project funded, they did really well, and so yeah, we thought it was a success. So that's, you just saw what the video kind of turned out to have the final result. And we didn't really know that was going to be the end of the day, exactly what it was going to look like, because it was kind of up in the air about the environment that they were going to be in, whether we just do it with these cool props. Let's see if my marker works. With these cool props just on kind of a background, like a white, gradient background, or we were going to find some kind of period piece background we could drop in. So anyway, I found this background picture just on a stock image site of a Civil War tent, and I kind of darkened it up, muddied it up, and threw obviously the film grain and whatnot on the top of that. So anyway, let's just talk about the reason why I want to talk about this video. It's not amazing or anything. All my screen drawing stuff is freaking out. Okay, it's not amazing. It's not like we did anything that was, crazy or unheard of, or anyway. It's just a learning curve thing. I'll talk about kind of the things we ran into and the things that worked. So here we are. We're at actually my friend Richard Bliss. He was producing this video. He's right here. He's a longtime marketer guy, Kickstarter expert, etc., etc. And these guys were the creators of the project, super smart history buffs. Anyway, we actually ended up shooting this. They were all from California, so we shot this in Richard's office, and he has a green screen set up in there that you can roll up and put down when he does his multimedia stuff, his media stuff. He shoots some video. Anyway, Richard's been a good friend and a client of mine forever, and so I want to talk about his studio for a second here, but how we set this up. So I'm going to let this play here instead of just scrubbing around. So obviously I'm shooting on my little red stripped down because I had to fly in that morning. Just everything on a carry-on, threw it in my camera bag. Okay, so really quick, I want to point up here. So in his office, which is a little garage that was converted to an office a few years ago, he has these skylights here, and he has some of these other hanging lights that he ended up hanging. These are just shop lights right here, fluorescent shop lights, 4-foot fluorescent shop lights that are always up there, ready to go, plugged in. And so when he wants to shoot something, it's really easy for him just to bring his camera out, drop his green screen down, plug those shop lights in. They're all angled just a little bit towards the green screen, so there's a separation between whatever he's shooting and that screen. And what I've done to him, I've taken a bunch of black, just plastic bags, because that's all we had right then. And I hung black plastic over the what are they called, the windows, the skylights, so they weren't illuminating our guy down here, because it was potentially going to be nighttime. And I also took that black plastic, just garbage bags, and I skirted these shop lights. I just taped it to the edges and dropped it down like 6 inches or so, maybe a foot, so that there was no spill falling on top of our guy here. It was only ever lighting the green screen. And you want to bring him, the talent, out as far as you can, away from the green screen, so there's no shadow and no green bounce coming off of him. And we also lit the green screen with some of these fluorescent boxes that I actually made. Here, I'll get a picture of these. I made them a long time ago, and been working on getting manufactured. Actually, it's going to happen pretty soon. Oh, here we go. So here we tinted the outside. So we took a huge... I actually brought this from Utah. I just thought, you know what, we might need this. So I had this huge piece of black plastic that weighs nothing, of course, so it didn't really cost me anything on the plane. And taped it up to his garage. He has a couple of double doors that are, you know, French swinging doors, so that you could get in and out there. So we tinted those because it was just a big window, and made it so we had a little more space too, so we could put the camera. I think the camera was just, the tripod was just on the threshold of the door there when we were getting our wide shots. All right, so you can see here how we lit this guy. It was with these little, we had the 4-bank fluorescents above with daylight tubes in them, and then these little lights are the 400-watt equivalent fluorescent boxes that I made, designed and made a few years ago, that I sent them to my buddy out here in California so he could use them, because he just, like I said, shoots his stuff on a green screen. And so we were basically lighting Ulysses S Grant and the green screen in spots that needed, because he doesn't usually use this much of a screen. He usually goes much smaller. We had 2 people interacting in this scene, obviously the guy who walks in and Ulysses at the table. Usually Richard doesn't use that much green to be worried about being lit, so he usually gets away with those smaller lights. But we need to have a few of these on the green screen and a few of them on Ulysses S Grant. And we also had this China ball that you can see, obviously, that I brought, and we used to do a flicker effect, a candle. And Dana down here on the ground on his knees, he is actually operating the flicker box. He's got, it's not even a flicker box, it's just a dimmer that I made from parts from Home Depot, and he just would flicker it up and down with his hand to get that flicker effect. And Richard's giving some direction. You can see I also have, whoops, I'm still drawing here. I'm going to scrub back. Oh, it's saving at the same time. You have these black plastic bags up here over these skylights. The light's not bleeding through as bad as it is on the other side. And that's how we lit this. So we just had a lot of, oh, there's me, what do you know? So we were keying from the China ball side, which is his left side. I was filling in from the right side here, a little bit of separation from the green screen. I'm going to scrub around here, see if I can't find something more. Yeah, so there's Dana. I also had a flow box, because I didn't want to make it too flickery, because it was a green screen. You can't really see it, it's all blurry here. But I had an orange gel to match because I had a tungsten globe inside the China ball here, so that's why it's kind of orange, and I had an orange gel on the daylight fluorescent box here just to give him some candlelight fill on his face here, and it would match the candlelight flicker that the China ball is giving us. Now at the end of the day, that really didn't matter what color it was because we ended up making it black and white, but again, we didn't know that was going to happen while we were doing it, so there you go. So last thing I want to make note of is that green screen back there. It's really wrinkly, and it came through quite a bit on the footage. And it's one of those times I thought to myself, that's pretty wrinkly, but I think we can work with it, because I knew we were going to stylize it and make it all dirty and make it look like film. But it actually was a bit more trouble than I wanted it to be while I was just trying to get a really, really basic key. And you can see that when we ended up shooting things like the candle on the finished piece. It has this really fuzzy nature to it. It would have been smarter to spend a little more time to straighten out some of these wrinkles, the big wrinkles especially, and some of these seams. Get some sandbags or something like that, or clips, and try and anchor these suckers to the floor. Or even if you had time, you could steam vac that cotton, what's it called, green screen. But we didn't. And at the end of the day, it ended up being okay, but I had wished to myself that, doing post on it as well, that I had not been giving myself that much of a headache trying to get even just a crappy key out of it that would work. And we were shooting on the red too, so I had plenty of color and plenty of resolution to work with. There was just such a variant on the different shades in that green screen that it was just really a pain to work with. All right, I think I'm gonna be done talking about it now. Again, it wasn't that amazing. It was a fun little project. It did really well for what it was. It got the point across. It communicated things. It was fun to do. Everyone here was really fun to work with. The reenactment guy was just awesome. All that stuff was his in there, his personally, and his motto was toys are meant to be shared. So he let us use them, and we got to learn about them. And I'll throw his info on the end here for anyone who's out in California to check that out. But it was just a really fun time. And again, the product, it turned out like we wanted it as far as we could tell, because we weren't exactly sure at the end of the day how it was going to look. We'll show it one more time. And yeah, any questions, let me know. So tell us about, give us your background.
I'm the person I portray is Private Donovan. I'm with the National Civil War Association, ncwa.org. Our purpose in California is to educate the public about life in Victorian times and the Civil War. I've been doing this about 20 years, and it's a hoot. Find your long-lost family, the reenactors. It's not just guys and the guns. It's a family thing. We have Confederate town, a Union town, a civilian town. We've had friends since they were 4 months old reenact, and they're now 18. So we do it all. We cook, we sing, we camp, do 2 battles a day. It's a lot of fun. Keeps me out of trouble. My wife knows where I am. In fact,
What is it? Trouble out here in River City?
yes,
So the thing that I think is the coolest is all the stuff we have inside is all your personal stuff.
correct. That's from my collection. The uniforms, the accoutrements, a lot of it comes from the thrift shop. Organization, and our company has loaner stuff, extra uniforms and cooking gear, but for the most part, that's all my toys. But the toys are for sharing, of course.
I like that. I like your toys are for sharing, so we're all sharing today.
Look up our website, come out and see, we'll suit you up. I know you're not from California, but we have 2 other organizations in California, actually 4. The California Historical Artillery Society, the American Civil War Association, and the Reenactors of the Civil War, RACW, and they all have websites accordingly, so check out the schedules. Something for everybody there. The history, the clothing, the politics of the time. I'd love to have you out. We can suit you up. We can also put you in petticoats too if you want, and corsets if you want. So we actually have 5 or 6 women who reenact with us, and they say that the wool uniforms are much cooler than all the corsets and the petticoats and so forth. So 100% wool, excellent choice for the summertime.
I had a comment, and I can't remember what it was now.
I used to have a whole collection of cannons. I got most of them at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Really? 1-to-1 scale?
No, there was just a wide variety. Some were models, some were metal, some were small wooden, some were some ship guns. Those don't really count, but had a whole bunch because I spent several months of my life in Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Oh, there you go.
Artillery school.
Yep.
That's right. That's
about
right.
the wool uniforms, you're absolutely right. I went to an Origins in Philadelphia in July once in a period wool coat, and it was the most comfortable I've ever been in the heat.
Really?
It was amazing.
Believe it or not, the guys back east, because we don't have the humidity here in California, so I'm not wearing my vest, but normally the fellows will wear a vest, and your shirt gets wet, and the sweat wicks up in the vest. It stays a lot cooler than you would think. However, the humidity is brutal back there. Again, California, it's not as green, it's not as verdant. The humidity, 95%. So you can imagine being in 1863 in July, you haven't ate well, you're sick, you're thirsty, and you're carrying 30, 40 pounds of gear, marching around, and 100% wool everything. Unless you're with the Southerns, but then you would have cotton. But still,
Wow.
it's something to see. This year is the Gettysburg 150th anniversary. That's going to be a spectacle to beat all spectacles.
That's where we're thrilled to be able to be doing this this series, this Grant Rising. Not that he wasn't at Gettysburg, but the whole focus on the Civil War and the battles. It's going to be a cool, and then we get to take the time to do this. This is going to be cool.